Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to my show Enchanted Lessons. I'm your host Sufeenah Khan, and I know that a lot of you out there want to be engineers, all right? And your dream college must be IITs. But this name even gives us sleepless nights. Is it really that difficult for us to make it to IIT? We'll find out. Also, once anyone amongst us makes it to IIT, we instantly plan our future with top MNCs. Our today's guest did not want to fit in the box of corporate world, even after making it to an IIT. Let's welcome the founder of Rice Institute and the brain behind WiseApp to answer all of these whys. Welcome, Mr. Mubeen Masudi on Enchanted Lessons. Hello, sir.
Hey, hi, Sufeenah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, firstly, please brief our audience about your journey to IIT because you've graduated from IIT Mumbai. So, how was it actually difficult for you to make it to IIT?
Yeah, I think it was fairly difficult. Like getting into IIT is like unless you're a genius, which I'm not, like it's very difficult. Because of two reasons. One, like you need to have like the adequate support system
Mm-hmm.
for you to make it to IIT, the right set of coaching, guidance, and things like that. And even when you have that, you have to work really, really hard for 2 years for that, like at least 2 years
Mm-hmm.
for that. You need to be good at math, physics, chemistry. And even after you do all these things, it's extremely competitive. Like lakhs and lakhs of students appear for IIT. Back in the day, like 15 years ago, when I appeared for IIT, I think it was at least a couple of lakhs, and there were like just 3,000 seats. And even within IITs, if you want to go to IIT Bombay, which is like the top choice, it's even more difficult. So it's
Mm-hmm.
very, very competitive, and the examination is also very difficult. Like not like a board exams.
Mm-hmm. So, you in a lot of your interviews, you have mentioned that अगर आपकी schooling कश्मीर से हुई होती, you've not made it to IIT. What, in your perspective, is actually Kashmiri schooling lacks?
I mean, it's not just schooling. It's a bunch of other things. Like if I were to ask you, right, how many students from your school have made it to IIT so far?
One or two.
Like right, and it's you're from Green Valley, right? It's a
Yeah.
very large school. Like for a school of that size, a good school like Green Valley is also like regarded one of the better schools. It's not like an average school. It's a large school and just one and two in their entire lifetime. It's a very small number. So I think that's again not blaming the school, but that's a systemic issue. Like
True.
Kashmir, mein, not many students make it to IIT. Like when I graduated from IIT, I realized that I was probably the first Kashmiri Muslim to graduate from there. So I say that because when I was studying, because my dad has a transferable job, so we used to live all across the country. So I've lived in 7, 8 different cities. So the school where I was, it was a much smaller school than Green Valley for sure, probably half the size. But every year, 3 or 4 students would make it to IIT, and it was considered a very normal
Right.
thing. A very normal thing. Like my
Mm-hmm.
senior, he got an all India rank of 70. So it was like believable thing. So पहली चीज तो वो थी कि the role models were there, awareness was there, and after that, the second thing was, if you want to go to IIT, there was proper coaching, there was an established system कि आपको 2 साल IIT के लिए पढ़ना है. No one will question you. तो अगर मैं कश्मीर में होता, मेरे को लगता है IIT कोई बहुत बड़ी चीज है, because no one is making it to IIT. तो मतलब I have to be really special. Ordinary people can't make it to IIT.
Mm-hmm.
दूसरा, अगर मैं आईआईटी के लिए पढ़ते भी लगता है तो सब लोग कहते हैं अरे बेवकूफ बंदा है, ये स्कूल एग्जाम छोड़ रहा है, बोर्ड एग्जाम छोड़ रहा है, बोर्ड एग्जाम के बाद लाइक मेरे खुद के टीचर मेरे को बोलते कि क्या टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो. तो बहुत मुश्किल होता. सो डिस्पाइट बीइंग सेम लाइक द सेम पर्सन, so that's what I mean when I say if I was in Kashmir, like I'm 100% sure because I know myself, if I was in Kashmir I would have not made it to IIT.
Mm-hmm. There's this thing back in those days when you actually made it to IIT, I think in 2007.
Yes.
In 2007. So IIT Kashmir mein to in 2007 it was not even that that famous of a thing. The most people know is Nigeen mein NIT. If somebody goes there like they're like अच्छा NIT में जा रहा है या जा रही है whatsoever.
अरे
So
बहुत बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज बताता हूँ मैं. सॉरी सॉरी
yes,
टू इंटरप्ट. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग
no
चीज
please.
बताता हूँ. तो जब व्हेन आई मेड इट टू आईआईटी, तो 1 साल पहले मेरी सिस्टर का भी मेडिकल स्कूल में हुआ था जीएमसी में. So we did a typical Kashmiri family. We did a big niyaz. Like my mom
Okay.
wanted, ki, "Arey karte hai, let's call all our relatives." So
Mhm.
I remember one of my uncles or aunt, I don't remember who exactly, actually told my mom कि अरे यार ये इतना दूर क्यों जा रहे हैं इंजीनियरिंग करने के लिए, इसका एनआईटी श्रीनगर में एडमिशन नहीं हुआ क्या? This is a real conversation. This is not made up.
And that is how we know
And
lack of education.
and this is 2007. लेकिन मेरा student है उमर. He
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm taking his name because he said this openly. I went to meet him last year itself. He's in IIT
Mm-hmm.
Bombay right now. He's my second student to make it to IIT Bombay. So he has said this, like he's from, I'm not sure either. I think he's from Kulgam
Mm-hmm.
or Kupwar. I'm not sure. One of those places. तो उसके पेरेंट्स उसको अंटिल रिसेंटली कहते थे कि बेटा वापस आ जाओ, लाइक क्या कर रहे हो, लाइक इससे अच्छा कुछ मेडिकल की सीट वीट निकालो. तो मतलब it's still, so when I say I would not have made it to IIT, like because I am clearly not as smart as Umar is, right? तो
Mm-hmm.
मतलब मेरा तो नहीं होता.
So true. And that's how we know lack of awareness. कि इतना दूर क्यों जा रहा है वाला thing. Also, you said that when you were studying for the entrance exam, you figured out कि यहाँ boards को ज़्यादा seriously लिया जाता है. You know, entrance is here and then there are boards. I also remember one of my cousins, and she had a lesser percentage in like 12th K boards than compared to my other cousin, and they all were from medical field. The first one who did not score very well in in the 12th board may actually उसकी medical seat निकल गई and दूसरी की नहीं निकली. And that's when people actually realized, because सब तक था अरे यार इसको बहुत कम marks आए 12th में, this and that, and then it actually occurred to them, अच्छा she was preparing for the 2 years, she was actually preparing for a medical seat. So, you are the founder of the Rise Institute that we call it now, and it's very famous now in Kashmir. So, how did you actually figure out that you wanted to start Rise? Because most of the people, go to MNCs, receive huge packages, achieve salary and stuff.
नहीं तो मेरा भी वही था, like I also joined a typical MNC, a typical job after IIT. I was working in
Mm-hmm.
Gurgaon for 12
Mm-hmm.
14 months. Like but that is when like I was like 21 22, and that is when I started questioning things, ki what I'm doing, does it even make sense, like I'm just helping rich people get richer. I was helping like pharmaceutical companies in the US. And the thing about also when you are from IIT, you also have this privilege of sorts कि यार it's very difficult to fail in a way
Mm-hmm.
कि मतलब यार कुछ भी नहीं हुआ नौकरी तो लगी जाएगी. Like I was
Ah, true.
like people from IIT, we don't have that fear कि अरे will be jobless, पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे, like क्या खाएंगे पिएंगे, वो issue नहीं होता है. So that gives you like freedom, like to try out different things. So when I started having conversation with my friends and cousins from Kashmir, जहाँ मैं बचपन से रहा नहीं हूँ, so very disconnected from them, I realized that most of my cousins friends are intellectually at least as competent as me,
Mm-hmm.
and financially also as well off as me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but still, the kind of colleges they studied in, the kind of professional opportunities they had was not even, they were not like worse than me, but they was not even comparable to what I had.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very like disturbing thought, disturbing reality. So that is when I decided, ki, nahi, let's go back to Kashmir and let's try to do something in education. Like us time I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know much. I knew more about IITs, and I decided ki with the simple aim of increasing the representation of Kashmiri students in top universities of the world, let's do something there. So yeah, so that is why I started Rise.
All right. So when you actually started Rise, you told us about your journey. So what were the challenges that you faced with Rise? Because आपने Rise start किया 2012 में. तभी इतनी awareness नहीं थी, for these entrance exams. तो कौन से challenges आपने face किए?
हाँ मतलब दो टाइप के चैलेंजेस होते हैं. एक तो कॉमन चैलेंज होता है whenever you start
हम्म.
something new, there are challenges like across all industries, like nothing special that way. Like of course I didn't come from a super rich family. I had like savings of 70 80,000, तो उसी में start करना था.
हम्म.
And there was this psychological thing as well कि मेरे दोस्त तो लाखों में कमा रहे हैं, but I have to like start from scratch. तो वो
हम्म.
general challenges of starting a new business or starting a new work or starting anything, a new non-profit, were there. But the biggest challenges were ki, like because I came from a mindset ki, oh, I'm coming here, I'm going to revolutionize education. I'm solving the problems of Kashmiri kids, like savior mental
Mm-hmm.
mindset कहते हैं कुछ तो term होती है when Americans would go to Africa type वाला, like मैं उस savior
Mm-hmm.
mindset से आ रहा था. And but then it was like reality was very humbling, like when I came in and I saw ki when I told people कि अरे मतलब आईटी के लिए पढ़ना होता है 10th 11th से ही पढ़ना होता है, they were like this guy is crazy, what is he saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because उस time पे तो people would not even study for JEE NEET, PMT then from class 11th, like,
Mm-hmm.
and when I would tell students parents, they would just not even listen to me. I would like beg school principals, please allow me to do a workshop in your schools. Very few of them agreed. Most of them did not agree. I remember principals calling me a fraud कि अगर आप आईआईटी बॉम्बे से हो तो यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो, मतलब आप क्लियरली आईआईटी बॉम्बे से नहीं हो. So I think that was the biggest challenge because that was like a shock. Like मेरे को लगता है लाइफ में सबसे बड़े challenges वही होते हैं जो shock, जिसके लिए आप तैयार नहीं होते. Because I
Mm-hmm.
was ready for it कि it will be slow, time लगेगा, it will be difficult. Kashmir in general is a difficult place to work. But I was not ready for people calling me stupid to my face, lunatic to my face, or fraud to my face. I think those were the biggest challenges. Like, keeping sane in that kind of environment and then trying to focus on the work.
And that also, if we hear now कि somebody actually principal called you for fraud, it's actually, very disturbing thought because now we know Mubeen Masudi, he is the founder of, Rise Institute. It's really disturbing. But the fact being that it is well said that change comes with resistance. You came to Kashmir with, and this is so funny because you came with that like a guru mindset that I will change the whole aura and the atmosphere of Kashmir. But it obviously came with some resistance because you have to face resistance everywhere, like in every field you go when you actually want to bring in some change. Because I remember, I don't know, but I am full, that person who's like full, spreads awareness about, importance of good mental health, and that also in schools. Because I still remember whenever any program ka suggestion would be taken, I would always be like, mental health awareness karte hain please, and this and that. And many of my teachers actually told me कि it's not very important. People fail to understand the importance of mental health, and a lot of times people came to me, bullied me. So this is that crazy girl who talks about crazy stuff that we call it now. And I realized that, whenever you have to bring some change in in any place for that matter, it comes with resistance.
Hmm.
Because in fact, I came across with a teacher who used to, throw, toxic statements at students. You're never going to achieve
Yeah.
anything in life, you're a
Yeah.
complete failure. And I actually thought that this is not the right thing that they're doing to students. And so
Yeah.
everything in every field that people go in, to, bring in some change, there has to be some resistance
Yeah, yeah,
from
yeah,
people.
and especially like what you are touching on is probably even more difficult than what I do. Like because I work with students like and coaching industry. Like
Mm,
we're very infamous for pressurizing students, not caring about their mental health. But yeah, it's a very important thing, and I've had like very serious conversations with parents where like at one point you just have to stop, like you just have to tell parents you things, whatever the kid is preparing for, be it IIT, JEE, NEET, whatever, it can't be more important than their health. And
mm,
mental health is just like if you're very serious about them getting fever, cold, cough, COVID, you should be equally serious about their mental health as well. But yeah, I having said that, I think like we're very very early in that conversation, and I'm very happy that people as young as you are like talking about it. And yeah, I think that's a very hopeful thing to hear that it's coming from you.
now that we have talked about mental health, the persona that us as students, I am a student myself, an eighth grader, as a student, go through is that coaching center mein jaakar your freedom is going to be finished. It's the end of your life. You'll not have any fun in your life. People actually call those students mazdoor. You have to take a bag on your shoulder in the morning, and then you have to return late at night and throw that bag on the floor again. What is your, perspective?
This was one of the things I used to make fun of, like when I came to Kashmir. So another thing when I started the rise, another one of the reasons which I thanks for pointing it out. One of the reasons I was called a lunatic because I said, आई डू समथिंग रेवोल्यूशनरी। मतलब रेवोल्यूशनरी क्या था, मैंने कहा था कि राइज में अगर आप पढ़ोगे तो आपकी हफ्ते में 6 दिन क्लास नहीं होगी, आपकी हफ्ते में 2 दिन क्लास होगी।
हम्म,
बिकॉज मैंने एग्जैक्टली यही टीम टर्म यूज की थी। मैंने कहा बच्चे यार मजदूर थोड़ी है, सुबह 5 बजे घर से निकलते हैं, क्लास अटेंड करते हैं, फिर स्कूल जाते हैं, फिर स्कूल के बाद अटेंड करते हैं, फिर घर पहुंचते हैं 7 बजे। पेरेंट्स भी खुश हो जाते हैं कि हमारा बच्चा थक गया, बट दे डोंट रियलाइज कि बच्चा पढ़ाई से नहीं थका है, वो फिजिकल और मेंटल स्ट्रेस से थका है। तो
हाँ।
तो मतलब बहुत छोटी चीज है कि हफ्ते में 2 दिन क्लास होनी चाहिए, बाकी हर जगह वैसे ही होता है। जहां मैं पढ़ता था दिल्ली में, हमारी हफ्ते में 1 दिन होती थी, बट इट वॉज कंसिडर्ड वेरी रेवोल्यूशनरी। लाइक वी
हम्म,
फेस्ड वेरी लॉट ऑफ रेजिस्टेंस। लाइक आज भी राइज में 4 दिन क्लास होती है। लाइक इफ इट वर अप टू मी 2 दिन होनी चाहिए, बट अगर
हम्म,
2 दिन होगी, इवन नाउ लाइक नो वन विल कम टू स्टडी एट आवर प्लेस। तो हाँ, दैट इज देयर राइट, बिकॉज इट्स I don't know, like it's very, like, because I'm also a part of like coaching fraternity. I can't say I can't. It can be very convenient for me to say, "Arey, nahi, Rise is different," which it is. But having said that, matlab, in general, students' ki life is difficult, like especially with regard to academics. I think it's a lot to do with scarcity, because opportunities का बहुत scarcity है. Like
हाँ,
as I said initially, competition बहुत ज़्यादा है. So there's a lot of people chasing very few things,
हम्म,
and I'm hoping it improves in future, because and it is not something that will come from coaching, because coaching तो एक symptom है. It is come from the overall scenario
हम्म,
कि मतलब बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज हो रही है। मतलब जैसे यू like are doing a like you're doing a podcast when you are in class 8th. Like when I was in class 8th, I didn't even have the confidence to talk to, from students from class 9th, let alone interviewing or having a conversation. Like it is changing. Like
हम्म,
it's a different world out there, right? God, like God knows, like maybe you become one of the most successful podcast hosts by
इंशाल्लाह,
the
आई
time you
होप
are in
सो।
class by the time you are in class 12. And in terms of money, which is important, you end up making more money than any of the IIT graduates or MBBS, whatever. Then things like coaching just go for a toss. Like, why do you need coaching, right? So जैसे जैसे like हमारी सोसाइटी थोड़ी डाइवर्सिफाई हो रही है, अपॉर्चुनिटीज बढ़ रही है, डिफरेंट हो रही है, तो आई थिंक ये थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा। लाइक पर हाँ, अभी स्ट्रेसफुल तो है ही। मतलब बच्चों की सिचुएशन कुछ कर नहीं सकते उसमें। लाइक दैट इज
हम्म,
द अनफॉर्चुनेट रियलिटी।
it is the unfortunate reality, and I think it was very important to discuss this thing because make मुझे भी ये tag मिला है, I have been people tag me as a mazdoor, and it's not that thing because I have like 5 days of classes, 6 days of classes where I go for coaching, and like my parents are even that कि 7 दिन क्यों
व्हाई
नहीं
डू
है, छह
व्हाई
दिन
डू
क्यों
यू
नहीं
गो
है।
फॉर कोचिंग? आप तो क्लास 8th में हो, आप किसकी कोचिंग लेते हो?
क्लास 9th की कोचिंग।
मतलब अगर आप क्लास 8th में हो तो क्लास 9th की कोचिंग क्यों लेते हो?
Because you have to be a step ahead
ऑफ होम?
of every student. It's just the fact that it's it's so
See, you
funny,
can't.
but it's so
See,
serious.
you can't now see, now if you are blaming, अगर मान लो मैं आपका टीचर हूँ, ठीक है, आपके कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में, and now if you're feeling very stressed, physical stress, mental stress, whatever, you can't blame me, because you have yourself to blame. Like आप इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग चीजें कर रहे हो, लाइफ में पॉडकास्ट होस्ट कर रहे हो, लोगों से बात कर रहे हो, व्हाई वुड लाइक क्यों मतलब क्लास 8th में क्लास 9th की ट्यूशन, लाइक व्हाई?
It's
राइट?
it's just the fact that it's very funny, but it's very serious. The thing being that the uniform education system that is launched, and that we'll have our exams in March, but still we
हाँ,
we
वो तो
uh, you know
ट्रांजिशन ईयर है, तो आप अभी अभी सही कर रहे हो, तो इस साल वुड बी
uh-huh,
डिफिकल्ट।
hmm
बट मेरे को बताओ,
that's
आपके 9th में 99% भी आ गए, तो आप लाइक व्हाट इज द बेनिफिट ऑफ गेटिंग 99% इन 9? डू यू गेट, इफ यू गेट अ कैश रिवॉर्ड, प्लीज गो अहेड डू इट, बट इज देयर अ बेनिफिट? जनरली क्यूरियस।
I'll quit right here. There's no benefit if even
No,
I
this is not, this is not an endorsement for quitting,
uh-huh.
because even at Rise we teach class 9 students. I'm just curious, like I want to learn from you, like because this is my line of work. Like why do you think, see, I get it, when you are preparing for IIT,
Hmm.
your school teachers can't like teach you for IIT, because their role and responsibility is to prepare you for school exams, or for NEET or SAT, or like coding or music. Like you can't expect your school teachers to teach you, like they will
Hmm.
just teach you for school exam curriculum. बट 8th क्लास में 9th क्लास के लिए पढ़ना इज लाइक स्ट्रेसफुल.
For me, it's now not that stressful. I think it's the perspective you take, because when I actually started going to coaching, I had never gone to any tuition center, any coaching center for that matter, a private tutor, nothing. And when I started going to my coaching center, I felt like पहले पहले लगा कि नहीं शायद it's very stressful, schools and then coaching and stuff. But the thing being that I am a person who likes to do like a lot of stuff, who has like a lot on her plate and stuff. And now that I go to coaching, I enjoy going to coaching, because there's something that they teach you a little extra and a little more, and that I practice a lot in coaching and then in school. And it's for me, I just want to have a lot of knowledge
Yeah,
inside
as
of
long
me.
as long as you like it, good for you. Like
I
I'm
don't know
just
how I
asking.
like it, but
I'm not
I just do.
suggesting you to know. I'm not suggesting you to quit or like do more of it. I'm just, if you like it, good for you.
I think I even make like made like a video of like full of my coaching entire institute and my friends. It's my happy place now. I don't know how it is my happy place. I think it's just a perspective you take in mind, because a lot of people who even I think I should mention it. A lot of people who actually go for entrance exam and stuff. Many of them are actually forced by their parents. कि नहीं वो ना
Hmm.
that thing three idiots वाला हमारा बेटा engineer banega wala kind of thing. It's just the perspective you take in your mind that okay, if I'm doing this
Hmm.
if I change my perspective a little, it's something that's fruitful and fun.
Hmm. Probably. Yeah.
I think a lot of people will have different opinions on or opinion on this, but this is my personal opinion, because it's just the fact that I don't like to be I'm an extrovert. I don't like to be alone at all. I like to interact with a lot of people. I think one more reason why I went to
Hmm.
coaching, I wanted to
Yeah.
interact with people as
I
much as I
think
could.
I think that's like when I started teaching in, sorry for digressing, when I started teaching in 2012, I was 22 years old
Mm-hmm.
then. And I was teaching the students I was teaching for entrance. One of the batches were, I think they were like, some of them were repeaters. So they were like 18, 19, 17 to 19. So there
Mm-hmm.
was not much of an age difference. So जो मेरे शुरू वाले students हैं, I was very close to them. We used to talk like very, like we're still like, now we're like friends. They still call me sir, but we're like friends, like the ones I'm in touch with. So we used to talk a lot, and I was also new to Kashmir. As I told you, I've never lived here. बस
Mm-hmm.
गर्मियों की छुट्टियों में आता था, तो मेरे लिए बहुत नया होता था. मैं हैदरपुरा में रहता हूँ, और हमारा राइस जो है तुलसी बाग में. सो आई यूज्ड टू गो थ्रू परेपुरा, विच इज
Mm-hmm.
स्टिल द हब. उस टाइम पे भी हब था. तो मैं आता था सुबह सुबह. तो मैं बच्चों को बोलता था कि यार, जब हम पढ़ने जाते थे आईआईटी में, तो हमारे इधर डार्क सर्कल्स होते थे. पढ़ पढ़ के खराब हो गए थे, बालों का पता नहीं, कपड़े पता नहीं, मतलब एकदम कुछ तो रैंडम पैंट पहना है, रैंडम शर्ट पहना है, राइट, इट्स नॉट इवन आयरन, लाइक we look very bad, like as bad as we can look, most of us. But I'm like, when I walk through Parepura, it's like high street fashion. Like I was so impressed, especially by the boys. Like, I was so impressed. Like, and I'm not being sarcastic or like that. Whenever I talk about Kashmir, I talk that with pride. Like, Kashmir, as Kashmiris, we focus more on our, like we give put in an effort to look good, to look presentable. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was really impressed. और मेरे को विंटर फैशन पसंद भी है. लाइक पीपल वे बच्चे, मतलब बच्चे ही थे वो, 10th 11th के आपके जितने बच्चे थे, कोट्स पहने हुए, जैकेट्स पहने हुए, लाइक एकदम जेल्ड हेयर, शूज, लाइक एकदम. सो I think that's also like a larger point here, like because the reason I'm saying that is because I think we do not have, for youngsters in general, like for your age group, slightly older as well, we don't have much avenues of socializing.
Mm-hmm.
उतना है
True.
नहीं. Like probably you could correct me, maybe होता है, मुझे पता नहीं है, because now that I'm very old. उस टाइम पे मतलब मेरा बच्चों का ये डिस्कशन होता था कि यार सोशलाइजेशन का उतना नहीं है उस टाइम पे. तो लाइक अभी भी मतलब मूवी हॉल्स आर नॉट देयर, और है भी तो इट्स नॉट लाइक पॉपुलर और मेन स्ट्रीम ऐसे.
Mm-hmm.
बच्चों के लिए कुछ करने को नहीं है. देयर नॉट मेनी बॉलिंग एरीज. लाइक वैसा कल्चर नहीं है जहाँ बच्चे लड़के लड़कियां ऐसे घूमे वगैरह. लाइक इट वाज स्टिल कंसिडर्ड एज अ बैड थिंग, राइट. इट्स लाइक
Mm-hmm.
आवारागर्दी टाइप. So coaching became like a legitimized thing, right? It is like
Uh-huh.
it is like in a good way. Like you, as you, because आपके answer में मेरे को लगा when you said, you're an extrovert, like it's your happy place, because it becomes like a like a place like for socializing, which is
Mm-hmm.
important. Like when we talk about mental health, when we talk about growth, when we talk about adolescence, socializing in your age group is important. Relatives से कितना बात करोगे? It's very
Mm-hmm.
boring. So, and especially in winters, where you
True.
you are in your house, बाहर जाना और भी मुश्किल है. So I think that is also a reason like coaching in Kashmir is like incredibly popular, because
Mm-hmm.
more than education, it is like socializing.
Mm-hmm. And that I totally agree with your perspective, which was kind of the same from with my it we really matched together with our perspectives. Because actually may a lot of us, when we go to even the coaching to give our exams, the test papers we receive, and when we finish it we have like a good 1 hour, and they usually tell us to leave after that, and we don't leave. For that solid 1 hour we're in the coaching center, having, we don't do anything, but we're just sitting and we're talking to each other, which is very important. I don't know, it is actually important, especially for me. I feel totally, disappointed when I'm in a room. I cannot stay in a room, even because I'm a student in Green Valley. I know teachers, I know lecturers from 11 12 department. I know students from 11 12 department, and I don't know, and that's a thing that I have in me because I'm an extrovert. Coming back to your journey, we discussed about your Rise Institute journey, the challenges you face. People called you stupid and crazy and fraud for that matter. And now we know that you started Wise app in when COVID hit, after COVID hit, and almost every school was using it, right? And in a way, actually schools used it to force students, to attend classes for the consistent attendance. So what was your idea behind Wise app?
My like first of all, like apologies to all the students who were forced to attend classes because of Wise. That was like, of all the things, reasons behind starting Wise, that was not like even a minor reason to force students to attend. So because I've been a teacher like all my life, I've taught like math. At Rise, initially when we started, I was teaching physics, chemistry, and math, but eventually I was teaching math and chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the last 10 years I've spent teaching like close to 5 to 6 hours a day. So when COVID happened, like it became very difficult to teach, and that time like we had 2G internet, so it was even challenging for us to teach online. And then some people started using Zoom, and this realized that if you could modify, like use it on lower bandwidth, you could actually teach on Zoom. So I just I'm not sure if you're aware. I just tweeted that I'll be teaching last 10 students free of cost. I'll be teaching them math and science. Like just if you're interested, just fill this Google form. And within 2 days, I got like 12 to 1300 registrations, which was insane. Like I thought I'd teach 30, 40 students. So I made two groups of like close to 500, 600 each, like purchase Zoom licenses of 500 participants, and I started teaching. And I had
Mm-hmm.
to do a lot of things. Like I had to send them Zoom links. I had to like register, like I had to purchase some SMS license. I don't remember the name, where I would blast an SMS and send them the meeting links. They would join the meeting, and I would take tests on Google Form, create certain WhatsApp, Telegram groups. Like a lot, I was using 5 or 6 different applications.
Mm-hmm.
I was putting in a lot of effort. Like I was trying to teach them like as much as I could, but every class attendance was dropping. Where I realized the experience was very broken, not just for me, for students as well. Like test एक जगह हो रहा है, like पढ़ाई एक जगह हो रही है, message एक जगह आ रही है. Unlike a school जहाँ सब कुछ classroom में होता है. So that is when I
Mm-hmm.
realized कि this is not how it can work. Everything needs to be happening at one place. I got in touch with my friend Bilal, who's from Lucknow. He's my batchmate from IIT Bombay, and he's worked in tech product startups, unlike me. So I told him these are challenges. We started discussing, and Wise was actually built for. I actually built it for myself to make online teaching super. Like it was made for teachers. Like to be very
Mm-hmm.
honest, it was not made for students, because I'm a teacher. I understand teachers more. Like you understand students more. I understand teachers more.
Mm-hmm.
So it was meant for teachers, and Yeah, so it had many features. Like at that time, 4 or 5 features. Abhi to bahut hai. Attendance was just one of them. But yeah, but I've gotten a lot of great feedback from teachers about Wise, like for obvious reasons. But I'm very curious to know about from students. Like, do students hate me?
The students used to definitely hate you because first it was convent school that you know who actually used Wise app, and then it was Green Valley. Before Wise app, I'll be very honest. We used to join our online class in the background. It was going on, and like Among Us was very famous. It was a game that was like very famous in lockdown
Yeah, I played
thing,
that.
and we used to play Among Us in a group, like a group of friends, and we used to make a room, and then we used to play Among Us till the time from 9 to 12 when our classes would end, and then we would go to our parents. Our class अच्छे से हो गई. And when we actually came to WhatsApp, we did not have the option to go to Among Us and then play Among Us. Then we had to stick to, studying and then not escaping and bunking our class without the teacher knowing. And I think most teachers actually knew that we would not be present because a lot of them would be like, please unmute your mic. And then it would be like, ma'am, we're facing some network issues. My mic is not able to, I'm not able to unmute and stuff. So why is in a way force
हाँ,
the
even then,
students?
right? वाइज में भी बस यही तो था कि आपको क्लास अटेंड करनी है, आप क्लास ज्वाइन करके आप बैकग्राउंड में अमंग
But
अस खेलो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
no, no, it was a rumor. I'll tell you, I don't know if it was a rumor or not, but it was a rumor that if attendance gets recorded, and if you in the background, if you play your class and then you play Among Us, your attendance will not get recorded.
Wow, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Was that
that's
a
how
rumor,
Wise
or
works.
it was it true?
I I I prefer not answering that question.
All right. So, regardless of the fact it was true or not, we actually stick to, being safe, and we did not bunk any classes after that. We were very good students after that. And then we were disciplined, and we stick to giving classes like good students.
Sorry.
No, it was a good thing that you did at the end of the day,
Okay.
because at least we studied something in the pandemic. In
Yeah,
seventh grade, sixth, so I don't
I'm
even remember studying.
I'm sure हाँ काफी पढ़ाई की होगी.
नहीं, सच में कि उसके बाद वाइस के बाद तो हमने कर ली. Before wise also, the thing that you said, everything was very unorganized. I remember Google
True.
Classroom, where we used to, receive our assignment, and that also one assignment, and the rest of the things we'd receive it on WhatsApp, Zoom pe classes, kabhi Google Meet pe classes. Just, everything was sorted after that. So, I want to know something very important. That is, did you ever, in this, journey, that in this 10-year journey of Rise, and when you made Wise app, what were the things that you somehow self-questioned your own decisions? Was it correct to even come to Kashmir, start up this thing? You would have faced a lot of criticism from parents too.
हाँ मतलब that is like that self questioning is always there because see what I've realized is when I look at people, like there's so much like to look up to in this world. Like when you look at people, there's like successful journey. Like when you dig deeper, बाहर से when you look at like successful people, you think of them as visionary or whatever. But when you dig deeper, you realize that most of the successful people have had many failures. And I don't mean it
Mm-hmm.
as a cliche कि यार failure is a part of life. What I mean is कि I've seen कि जो लोग successful होते हैं वो लाइफ में बहुत सारी चीजें करते हैं
Mm-hmm.
और मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम वो फेल होता है. ऐसा नहीं कि 50 टाइम फेल होता है, 50 टाइम, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम लोग फेल होता है. लेकिन जब वो सक्सीड होते हैं वो इतना डिस्प्रपोर्शनेटली ज्यादा सक्सेसफुल हो जाते हैं कि rest of the thing doesn't even matter. Like no one
Mm-hmm.
even cares. Like they try 100 things, but one thing they become so good at, like
Mm-hmm.
98 99 things don't matter. Like even in your, like if you continue to do your podcast, like most of your podcasts would be like average performing, like growing steadily, धीरे धीरे audience बढ़ रहा है. But somewhere down the line, your one podcast would be so, it will just be viral for whatever reason which you don't know. Like it will
Mm-hmm.
have millions of, like views or millions of listens, And everyone would be like, oh, she got lucky or whatever. Oh my God, she's so visionary or whatever. But you will realize ki nahi, matlab, it was just, failure after failure. And the most important thing was you didn't give up. So
True.
that is what happened with Rise as well. Like, it was very easy to. I always questioned myself. I was always down. Like whenever parents would tell me kya chal raha hai, whenever students would not show up, whenever results also. I remember जो हमारा first batch था, we had terrible results. Like I was like कि मतलब एक तो parents are questioning me, एक तो I'm not doing well professionally, एक तो I'm telling everyone कि I'm here for the real change, and finally result भी नहीं है. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing is in my favor. Like literally nothing. Like I don't have anything to show for to anyone. Forget to anyone, even to myself. So it's very easy to get dejected, and it happens. बट वही है मतलब इफ यू थिंक लाइक आई रेड दिस अबाउट ऑन ह्यूमंस ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क पेज में ओबामा का एक बार इंटरव्यू हुआ था उससे पूछा था कि यार कि like don't you get dejected like when once he became the president he said yeah I lost my first election like the first election that I had as a councillor I lost that it's very easy to get dejected but but the thing is if you think about work the best thing about work is there is always more to be done
Mm-hmm.
there's always opportunities and I
Mm-hmm.
don't mean it in the form of impact in the form of social work कि अरे बहुत अच्छा काम करना है like even in terms of work opportunity like there's always so much work to be done so much opportunities and if you do that work really well society
Mm-hmm.
will reward you they could reward
True.
you in the form of fame in the form of money in the form of respect whatever you want depending on what you're working on but if you think about work तो उससे easy हो जाता है because work never ends there's always
Mm-hmm.
something to be done.
Definitely. It is actually very deep, because there's this thing that is, whenever you're doing something, if you figure out that kitne failure हुए, kitna success मिला, it will be more, you'll be disheartened by the fact कि अच्छा failure ज़्यादा हुआ. But if you think कितना work मैंने किया, कितना काम मैंने किया, मेरा experience कितना बड़ा, मेरी knowledge कितनी बड़ी, you feel very motivated to do better. So, what we discussed in today's podcast was that resistance, change comes with resistance, but you should never give up whatsoever. We have a live example in front of us, Mr. Mubeen Masudi, who never gave up on his dream, on his passion, and that's why now we say that okay, mera bacha Rise Institute, acha Rise Institute. That is the notion that we have now in our society. The second important thing that we discussed about was that never actually count on the amount of failures you have or the success you have. It is always the work, the experience, and the amount of knowledge you have that actually matters. The third important thing that I think was important in this podcast was that you have to change your perspective about different things. Say for instance, you're in a situation where things are not going as planned, the journey is not going very smoothly, but if you change your perspective and you think, okay, these are some very fun challenges and I have to face it, and after I face it very nicely, I'll eventually tell my story to people about how I actually overcame those challenges, I overcome those challenges in the past. And this was all that we had for today. Thank you so much, Muneeb sir, for joining us in the show Enchanted Lessons.
Great. Thank you, Sufeenah. It was a great conversation.
So with this, I'll end today's podcast. This is Sufeenah Khan signing off.